A three, a two, a one. Welcome to episode 4 of the McCracken Poston Show, this time featuring longtime friend, first time guest, Hunter Adams. Hunter, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I was very excited when you asked me to do this. I know we talked about this quite a few months ago, and I think there was like one time where we were going to do it in person, didn't quite work out. So I have been looking forward to this for a very long time. I'm glad it's finally getting to happen. I watched the beginning of episode 1, I think, which you posted today, while I was making lunch. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
You know, that's not the first thing that we tried to do in person a few months ago that did not work out,
Okay.
unfortunately. But the power of Zoom.
hmm
Now,
For sure.
Hunter, I am filming from my dorm room. You would be filming in your dorm room, but you recently got relocated, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I made it like all of 3 days back at Samford before accidentally coming into contact with somebody. And then I think 2 days after that, they sort of forced me to come home. It was more of like an option at first. But yeah, I had gone down to Samford a week early to be a connections leader there, which was just basically I was going to be a tour guide for new freshmen, sort of help help them find their classes, do a few fun activities, just kind of make their like welcome pretty easy. But yeah, my partner ended up having it, and so I had lunch with her and some of her friends to kind of like get to know her before like we met our freshmen, and then she tested positive the next day, and so but yeah, so it goes. But I went ahead and moved out so that my roommate could move in, just in case. Got 2 tests, both tests were negative. Very thankful for that. I was allowed to move back. I guess, well, yeah, this past Wednesday, but decided to wait until this weekend so things wouldn't be as hectic.
Mm. So you are back. You know, I was talking with Thomas about this. Speaking of, hasn't been uploaded yet. I don't know if I should talk about the upload schedule. Like, I think people can maybe parse when episodes are getting, recorded if I talk about the upload schedule. I'm not too worried about it. All 9 people that would be able to parse through that. Uh, but this is the first time maybe we can consider a fan of the show is coming on, at least for the fan of the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, y'all's like little talk about Into the Spider Verse was very insightful, very amusing. I enjoyed it.
Dude, fantastic movie. Oh, it's so good. You kind of forced me to watch it because, I have to stay in my room and like have all my things around and just like be Mac and just sit at this computer and do my things. And I said earlier, like, oh man, I've never seen Into the Spider Verse. And he was like, okay, we need to watch it. And he texts me, and I had nothing to do that night, so I can't really. How can you refuse Daniel Gabriel? And then we watched it, and it was so good. It was so
Mm-hmm.
good. Seeing Nicolas Cage's character saying, like, when they're introducing themselves, he's like, "Oh, I like to hold a matchstick because it burns to feel something, to feel anything."
It was definitely like a little bit surprising. I think that was his like second superhero movie that year. He played Superman in a animated Teen Titans movie.
Oh goodness.
Uh, yeah, because and that was like sort of like a callback. He was originally gonna play Superman in like some live action movie, and that got scrapped. That was a while ago, so it was a little bit of a callback to that. Yeah.
Oh geez. Well, I said I've seen many Marvel movies. I don't know if that's a Marvel movie. I mean, it's a Marvel movie, but it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not a Marvel movie in my book. It's a Sony movie. It's good though. It's good though.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
have you been watching anything? How have you been
Oh,
keeping your time?
I was gonna say I did I just finished up season 1 of The Umbrella Academy on Netflix. Like I know I think it came out 2019. Season 2 came out I think pretty recently, but I heard friends talking about it, and so I was like, well, I've got all this time on my hands now, since I can't do anything at school. So I think I watched it in like the span of 4 days. It was only 10 episodes. And so I'm looking
Solid
forward to
pace.
season 2 soon. So that's sort of, it's like another take on the superhero genre.
I've
And
heard.
yes, yeah. Speaking of the superhero genre, I think season 2 of The Boys on Amazon Prime drops like either today or this weekend. And
I've heard
so
people talking about that, but I don't know anything.
that one's even like more of a twist on the superhero genre. Yeah, watch this the first season. Definitely an interesting show. My mom was like, "Hey, should I watch that?" And there's a lot of gore in there. I think it's probably like TVMA. I was my
Oh
mom was like,
goodness, you
"Absolutely
don't see
not.
that
You would not
often.
enjoy this." So yeah, season 2. I've been waiting for that. Yeah, since last summer.
Well, dang. Well, I almost watched Umbrella Academy. Me and one of my best friends, who will not be named because he refuses to come on the podcast for some reason. That's not, he doesn't refuse. It's actually even worse. I ask him, he changes the subject. But we were looking for something to watch on Netflix, and we were searching around. We couldn't find anything. We saw Umbrella Academy. I was like, "Oh, what is this? I've heard this good." He's like, "I've heard that it's good." We looked at each other. We just went to the next one. I don't know what. It just didn't speak to us in that moment. But we did watch The Last Dance, which is really good.
Oh yeah, and my brother watched part of that, and so I think I saw like episode 3. I think that's the only one I saw.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that was it. I forget.
No, but Netflix, dude, making so much money off of this, I'm sure. I mean,
Oh yeah.
probably people that have Netflix accounts still have Netflix accounts, but I imagine they're just getting way more traffic, all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
I think it was like back in March. It was like right before spring break. When like COVID, it wasn't big in like the U.S., but it was like getting big, especially like over in Europe. I remember like we talked about, I think in like my business 100 class, just how yeah, stocks for Netflix and other streaming services had gone up. Like Disney Plus had released. I think they started like that previous November, and so they were getting like even more increase than what they already had been. So yeah,
Did you see that?
definitely would have been a time to invest.
Yeah. Did you see that season 2 of Mandalorian got announced?
I did. I don't know if they did like a trailer for it or anything. I just
I
saw
didn't see a
like
trailer.
I think they just put up like the title and it's in like a different
Uh-huh.
color now. I think it might be just blue. Um, so no, I haven't seen anything about it. Haven't read anything about, or I can take it back. I've read a little bit. Like I've heard Ahsoka is supposed to be in it, and maybe Boba Fett. So
Which
who
doesn't
knows?
fit my timeline for. I don't know. I don't know. You know, talking about Star Wars kind of exposes me because I don't know the timeline. I didn't know Boba Fett and Ahsoka were around at the same time, but I
Yeah.
love The Mandalorian. Honestly, I think like I get in trouble for talking about Star Wars to people that love Star Wars because I think like 70% of Star Wars movies are mediocre or maybe bad. But The Mandalorian, so good. So good. I
Oh
love
yeah, for
westerns.
sure.
It's
So,
very western.
so my dad, he's watched like the entire series on Disney Plus of like how they made the Mandalorian, and just
Mm,
like so that's been really interesting. Like I know one thing they did, they've got like this studio. It's
I've
it's
heard.
almost sort of like a dome, and it's just got screens all the way around
Yeah.
it, and so like that way it's like not necessarily like all like green screen or blue screen. Uh, so I thought that was like super interesting. I didn't know that was like something you could do and then make it look so good. Yeah, I think I was blown away just like in the first episode alone. Just like I'm kind of like used to TV show budgets being a whole lot smaller than like movie budgets. So I was like, okay, like they probably won't do like anything too big. And then I think it was the scene where like maybe he like first gets into space, and like I think that was it. I was like, this is gonna be really good.
Yeah. Dude,
So,
Disney's got all the money in the world.
oh yeah,
It's That's
that's for
crazy.
sure.
Absolutely crazy. Uh, I know during the pandemic, my little brother, who is 5, uh, just turned 6 actually, is a huge Moana fan. So Moana has kind of been playing like 24/7 throughout our household for like the past like 2 months. And
Yeah.
honestly, there are worse movies that have playing 24/7.
Hmm.
But there's one better one,
What is that?
Zootopia. Zootopia is the best
Here we
Disney
go.
movie. I'm all for Zootopia, dude. It's so good.
we watched. That was one of the ones we picked out for. I guess yeah, both Zootopia and Moana were movies that me and Kent picked out for like day camp. That's sort of been like our task for like the past 3 years. We could finally convinced Rock, I guess pretty early on, like, hey, let us pick the movies, not necessarily the adults, because there's only so many times you can watch Hotel Transylvania 2 before you just get sick and tired of it. So, so you know, those are two that we thought we
Jeez.
definitely wanted to show.
Hotel Transylvania, dude. That is I didn't even know there was a two. Like maybe in the back of my mind I did.
There's three. There's three.
There's three. Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't it Adam Sandler Dracula?
I have no clue.
Pretty sure.
I
remember seeing it thinking that he looked like Adam Sandler. So I think there's a connection. Maybe not. But how did your summer camp job, which you've been doing for 3 years, how was it different this summer? Like, what was that like?
So this was actually year 6, I think, for me. I think that's right.
Year 6. Holy.
Yeah, started summer before the summer before freshman year of high school. And so this was definitely the weirdest year. So we started like 2 or 3 weeks late. We started like June 22nd, I think. And so started a few weeks later than normal. But we ended up like making like some of the time back. I forget if we like ended up going like a week later, but we worked the week of July 4th, which is usually something that we don't do. We usually have that week off. So we ended up working like 5 weeks total. So my job was a little bit different this year. Like for those 6 years, I was a counselor. My 5th summer, Rock promoted me and Kent to be like sort of supervisors. So we were in charge of training the new counselors and CITs. And then this year we took more like of a coach role. So we were actually like leading activities with the kids and didn't have like, we weren't necessarily as responsible for like individual kids, but we got more of a, like, I guess like just big responsibility of like monitoring all the kids. Like one thing me and Kent had to do every morning was we would take the temperatures of the kids getting out of the car. And then we had like 5 questions that we asked them to make sure they were healthy. And then like they were free to go on inside. So yeah, that was a little bit different. Had to make sure to enforce like mask rule just between counselors. The kids were too young, so, like they didn't have like a mask mandate. But yeah, it was great. I was definitely concerned about like what I would do if I didn't get to do day camp, because it's it's really my only source of income that I just kind of like use like throughout the year to buy groceries while at school and like get to do fun stuff. So I really rely on that. So I was definitely nervous. My backup was I was gonna like work for like Uber Eats or DoorDash.
I'm thinking
just
about
like in
doing
the
that.
evenings. Yeah, it's I had I know guys at school who do that, and like that they said that's what they were doing since their like summer internships or jobs kind of fell through. So yeah, that was my backup. But yeah, thankfully I was just texting Rock, and he kept saying like he'd let us know, and when we can update it, he would let us know. Things changed all the time, and yeah, once we finally got things secured, we just kind of like kicked things into gear. I forget how many schedules me and Kent had to make, but like things kept changing because we didn't know how many kids we were gonna have in each group. So I think we ended up making like somewhere between 4 and like 7 different schedules, just depending on like how many kids we were gonna have there that week. It was it's definitely a lot of work.
Yeah, sounds like it. I didn't have a job this summer, so I was just sitting around reading. I definitely did get. I told someone, I don't even know what podcast it was. I think it was episode 3. I need to get my bookshelf right here so I can flaunt my intellect and all my books. But I mean, 6 years. It's pretty impressive. Yeah. It's pretty impressive, and it sounds like a fun job too that you love doing.
100%. Yeah. So we they told us at the end of the year that they want to have us back next year, sort of like train new counselors. Hopefully,
Dang.
We don't have to worry about COVID next summer, and like things can go back to normal. So yeah, here's hoping, but there's a chance that like it might not be, and we have to kind of do this again. But now we're prepared, and so yeah. And I love getting to work with Rock and Tolar, and they're just hilarious. And so they told us just like, yeah, the more summers you work, like the more we like feel free to like share with you about like what goes on at Macaulay behind the scenes,
Oh, geez.
which is that's just I think that's better than like I wouldn't say it's better, but it's almost as good as just like anything they pay me. So and
They pay you
I love that part.
information,
Yeah,
secrets,
it's
tools of the
great.
trade.
Just get listening to them joke around just about like administration, other teachers. It's pretty good stuff.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, they're pretty brutal sometimes. And it's good stuff. I couldn't share it on the podcast, or else they would stop sharing with me if they ever found it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I forget if I told you this or if Ken had already told you. But yeah, we got to meet Peyton Manning this summer while working camp.
That's so
His
cool.
son Marshall came to camp for us, and so Peyton would drop off his kid, like ride his drop off ended, so that like there wouldn't be a lot of parents around. And so yeah, we were pretty chill with him. And then like you pick him up, he'd be like either one of the first or one of the last. And like on the last day, we were just kind of like screw it, and we all waved to him. He actually rolled down his window and talked to us and just thanked
Oh,
us
that's
for
cool.
being kind of chill with Marshall. And he had a great time. So hopefully he comes back. That'd be awesome. But yeah, the reason for it was I think Eli used to come to sports camp in Macaulay like way back in the day. So they've got a lake house up in Harrison, like not too far from my grandparents. And so they stayed there throughout the week, and then Marshall came to camp. And then I think that Friday or Saturday, or yeah, it was like the weekend of July 4th. So they were going to spend 4th of July here, do like a little party out on the lake, and then go back to Colorado.
What were they like living in Chattanooga, I guess, at the time? Right?
Yeah, I don't know like how often they're here, but I think we definitely tried to ask Marshall like, hey, what are your thoughts on coming to Macaulay? But
Oh, goodness.
I think he's already going to some high school, or he's planning on going to a middle school out in Colorado.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. He's only like in 4th or 5th, or I think he's like only 3rd or 4th grade. So there might be time to change his mind.
Oh, yeah.
He's
All
a
right.
cool kid.
Yeah, get him to go to Macaulay. You can become friends.
Oh yeah.
Big time. Wow. Dude, even though it was just a year ago, Macaulay feels so far away. So long ago for me. But yet so close, because we keep in touch. I keep in contact with a lot of Macaulay guys. A lot of guys that I keep in like somewhat contact with. I text them like anywhere between once a month to like once a year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get those guys on the podcast too, because I think the purpose of this podcast is not just to produce content and just have fun, but it's like also for me to say, how are you doing? Like, how have you been during the pandemic? Like, how's everything going? And just like communicate and just talk down, talk for an hour with someone I know super well, like you, or someone I don't know quite as well.
Mm-hmm.
But despite the pandemic, we have found ways to stay in contact, socially distanced, masked, you and I. Not often, but sometimes. And we're grateful for those moments.
Yeah.
But so during the times you weren't at camp, how did you what did you do in your free time when you had so much?
Geez.
Did you watch any other shows besides Umbrella Academy? Would you get into watch Tiger King?
Oh yeah. I think I was a little bit late to the party. I remember I forget when I like actually went through and watched it, but yeah, I remember I was in group chats with people at Samford back when like we were just in like in the middle of like spring semester, and so people would like I remember like it was the Carol Baskin references.
Uh-huh.
Like people would always reference like something about Carol Baskin and like how she did it. And I was like, what did she do? And so yeah, it wasn't until I watched the series that like I knew what they were talking about.
Mm.
So yeah, I was a little bit late to the party, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was interesting. I just saw today that Carol Baskin's to be on like the next season of Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, wow.
That's not a show that I watch.
No.
Uh, so yeah, I don't know if I'm just gonna like because I'm kind of intrigued. I kind of want to know what it's like. Uh, but yeah, we'll see. It's that might stay off my radar though. There's a lot of other things I would much rather watch, but I thought that was kind of interesting, like who they
Let's
choose to put on there.
see,
Like
in
who they
our
want to
dorm, our
football.
cable isn't like working really. Like there's a cable like output or whatever, but I don't know how TVs work. So my roommate who's better than that tried and he has a TV and we didn't get it
Yeah,
working. We cut the cord. So like the worst part about it is that we can't watch the bubble NBA playoffs right now.
oh yeah,
Despite it
yeah,
being so close to us, like despite I feel like everyone in
right.
Orlando should get it for like whatever, like put it on YouTube or something. But I'm getting more into basketball. Maybe because
Mm-hmm.
of the last dance, maybe not, maybe because there's just so little on, but I've just been like, craving sports. Like, come on, please.
Oh
Like
right, yeah.
and all the
I mean,
NFL news has been super interesting to me. I just like crave it like it's the real NFL. Like just hopes that there will be a season, and there will be, but who knows if it'll like get shut down halfway through? Like who knows? Like with the attendance and
right,
the audience, UCF is having football
that's
games and
cool.
having
Yeah.
attendees, and it's at 25% capacity, and it's randomly
Okay.
selected with a lottery.
All right.
So I know, right?
Our season got canceled. I'm actually pretty bummed about that because I think it was probably like our last game of the season. We were scheduled to play Florida State, and so my family was going to swing through Birmingham, pick me up, and we were going to get down to Tallahassee to watch the game. It was going to be yeah, like Samford plays UTC every year, which is where my mom went, uh, and so
Same.
I was excited to like get to see my school play my dad's school. So Samford played Florida State in I guess it was 2018, and like almost won. They were leading for a lot of the game. That's when Florida State was really bad.
I mean,
Uh,
Florida State's still. I mean, they
we don't know
this
yet.
decades
We
of
have we
of
have
great football, and then all
Memphis'
of a
head coach
sudden
now.
something happened to Florida State. Not sure what, but I feel like ever since like maybe Jameis left, I think it's just been unfortunate.
We held on with Francois for a little bit. Sid Blackman wasn't as good.
But
So
there
he
was
did okay, but yeah, after Jimbo Fisher left,
yeah,
that was rough for us.
like 4 years ago, it was like the greatest opener of all time was what they were calling it. It was like the opening of the season was Florida State versus Alabama. It was like number 2 versus number 3, and it was like, oh, dude, this is gonna be crazy.
That was brutal. Yeah, when Francois he broke his leg in the fourth quarter, like right towards the end. That
What
was
year was that? Do you know what year that
geez.
was?
I forget if that was I think that was the second year with no, I forget if that was the first or second year with Francois. So that would have been I don't know, that'd have been like 2015, 2016 maybe,
Yeah, sounds right.
maybe 2017, somewhere in like those 3 years. Yeah, new head coach now. And yeah, ACC still playing football, unlike
Yeah.
Big Ten, Pac-12. So that season will go on. So at least I'll have one team to watch. Yeah,
Did you
Stanford
ever
might play
go to
their
mini
football season in the
Samford?
spring.
Did you ever go to
Hmm?
mini Samford football games?
I think last year I went to two. Alabama A&M, which was like our first home game, and UTC, which was our homecoming game. But in total, like we had it was kind of like a weird season. We had a lot more away games than we did home games. And then the home games we did have, like the majority of them were on weekends that I was traveling for Ultimate Frisbee. And so
Mm.
I think there were only 3 weekends where we had home games and I wasn't away, and I went to 2 of those games. Like the one of them was it was early on a Saturday. I had to do something that Friday night that kept me up really late. So I kind of slept in. When I woke up, it was like 15 minutes from kickoff, and it was raining outside, and I was just like not feeling it. So I kind of went back to sleep for another hour, woke up, got a little work done. So I enjoyed it. The 2 games I did go to, but we didn't have the best team last season. Kind of struggled with finding a quarterback. We kind of alternated between our starting and backup. Our previous quarterback, who did like really well against Florida State, he was the guy who ended up being the backup quarterback for the Steelers, and so he got to play once Big Ben got hurt.
Mason?
Yeah.
Rudolph?
No.
Was he the guy called Ducky? That people called Ducky?
Yeah. That's it. It's like, I knew it wasn't Mason, but I totally forgot the dude's name. So I guess he was like the 3rd string quarterback.
Yeah. Mason Rudolph got almost killed.
Yeah.
One incident.
That was unfortunate.
Yeah.
But so that was good. For us, I think we were like the only school in Alabama with a like person playing or like starting in the NFL or something. That can't be right. It might have been like one person with like a starting QB in the NFL, from an Alabama school or something like that. We had like, there's some guy at Samford does a lot of like sports statistics, mostly about our football team. And
kind of spin the story in a way to make you guys cooler and better than the University of Alabama.
Yeah, something like that. It was not a good season for us. We blew a lot of leads, lost a lot of games. Didn't have a really good defense. It was rough.
Right.
One of the when I went to the Alabama A&M game, said their punter like faked a punt and ran 70 yards for a touchdown.
The punter.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
It was that was unfortunate, but we won that game though, barely.
Oh,
I think
well,
I'm pretty sure we won. It's kind of like a fever dream. It was because it was a long game. The score was like in the 40s, maybe for both teams.
Oh, dang.
So a lot of offense, not a lot of defense.
That's college football.
Mhm.
That's college football.
So I think our end of the season game was against Auburn. We were Auburn's cupcake team that season, and so we got shut out 52-0. I was very glad I had something to do that weekend and couldn't go.
There's nothing worse than when your college football team gets destroyed, man. Like,
right.
And I miss so much being at the college at like a game day. Like, I think our opener last year, classes got canceled in the afternoon because of we were playing against Stanford, which we won against Stanford, and I remember that was one of 2 games that I went to. Maybe I just went to 1 or 2, and I went to that one because it was a big game, massive game, and it was our only Power 5 team. And when I was in line, middle of the day, right, Florida, really hot, some guy in front of us, we're all just standing in this like grassy field because you have to be in line actually 3 hours early to get in because student section is small compared to like how massive the student population is. So we were like tailgating, we were hanging out, we were having fun throwing football. We get in line 3 hours early and are just getting baked in the August Orlando sun. Doesn't get much hotter than that. Plus humidity. And one guy in front of us collapses in a heat stroke. Yeah. And like police had to come. The guy was fine, but we were pushed up 1 spot in line. So that could have been all the difference.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's one thing I kind of wish Samford had was like, we're a small school, but I like the atmosphere of like big like sporting events, like whether it's like football, basketball, baseball. So I do kind of wish we had that. but definitely like the sort of like smaller campus vibes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
imagine. Dude.
So, yeah, that's why I was really looking forward to going down for like the Samford Florida State game, was so that I
Yeah.
could get like a little bit of a taste of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet it gets
We've done it
crazy.
before. Yeah, I've been down for like the UTC Florida State games. They've played them twice. One time was I can't even remember how long. I was super young, but I remember it just being like extremely hot. Like the most recent time was in 2015. That wasn't nearly as bad. I don't know, maybe it was just because I was older. But yeah, the first time we went, the only thing I remember about the game is like I didn't put enough sunscreen on my face, and so I had like two little stickers on my face. One was a UTC Power C, and the other was like the Seminole logo. And so when we got back to like our hotel where we were staying, took them off. I'm sunburned, and so I had like a little Power C, it's like sunburn on, or like where it was just like pale, rest of the face was pink, and then like a circle on the other side.
Dude.
And so I don't know if you have like those pictures. Yeah, it's like the only thing I remember about like that game. But yeah, the 2015 game, ton of fun. Sat near the band, which I really enjoy. Love Florida State's band. And yeah, I remember I know Dalvin Cook was still playing at that time. He did not play a lot
Stud.
that game, just because like yeah, cupcake game. But I
Absolute
remember
stud.
seeing him score pretty early on. So
If he could just get his injuries figured out and he could stay healthy, he could be like one of the top 3 running backs in the league. He's so good. I had him on fantasy 1 or 2 years ago. Vikings, absolute monster.
right, I
Broke
had
his
him.
back, I think.
I had him on my fantasy team 1 year, and he got injured, and so yeah, about par for the course.
Yep.
Fantasy Grim Reaper.
Yep. All your
Uh,
players get injured.
so,
Horrifying.
yeah, it makes me nervous. So I'm playing in a fantasy league with my Frisbee team down at Samford, and I've got 5 people on my team who are questionable right now. Um, I can't even. I forget who it is. I think it's Kenyon Drake. I think he's in a boot right now. I don't know why. Just I saw that
He's
like
still on the
notification.
Dolphins.
No, I don't think
Got
so.
traded. I think he got traded.
I
Yeah.
think I forget where he's at.
Did.
Uh,
I'm right next to the
yeah,
Bucks. We got a lot of Bucks fans down here who just got Leonard
yes.
Fournette.
So I did. I purposely did not draft any Bucks players just in case.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that'll save the team and they'll win a Super Bowl. Yeah.
That's what I'm betting on. I think they're a Super Bowl team. I honestly like. Listen, I've got an ongoing bet with someone who may or might not come on the podcast. Who I think they're going to get to the Super Bowl. I was almost right with my prediction. The Eagles last year.
Right.
Almost right, as in they got to the playoffs after like screwing up pretty hard. So, I mean, I think they're a threat. Your sunburn story reminds me of my worst sunburn I got at Cocoa Beach last spring, and it was a really hot day. So we're like, let's go to the beach with a bunch of people, and I put on a bunch of sunscreen, went in the water, hung out, played around, came out, didn't reapply sunscreen the entire day. In fact, I kind of did not. Like, if you had asked me, like, the day before, like, hey, do you need to reapply sunscreen? I'd be like, yeah, of course you do. But, like, in my mind, I totally forgot that you have to reapply sunscreen. So when I came back, my body looked like an actual tomato. It was so bad. I mean, luckily, it was the spray sunscreen, so you didn't see, like, the patterns of someone's hands, like, because sometimes you'll see pictures of people that, like, they had the rub-on sunscreen, and you just see, like, streaks of sunburn.
Right.
But this one was spray, and completely red, couldn't lay down in my bed. I was actually scared. Like, I was scared that, like, I would get, like, a horrible condition or something. I think that condition is called, actually, like, skin cancer. Like, I think that's what sunburn can do. So I've learned the sun is no joke. I've also learned that, because I'm, for ROTC or whatever, and also because I love it, I run outside all the time, and because it's hot, I take off my shirt. I have realized I'm starting to buy sunscreen because I realized that if you don't put on sunscreen, like, the sun can age you a lot. Like, sometimes you see, I saw a really cool picture of like a truck driver who one side of his face was like old and wrinkly, the other was like healthy because he was always in the sun. Like the
Yeah,
sun can really age you. So I don't want to look like I'm 40 when I'm like 25. So the sunscreen, uh,
there you go.
SPF some high number. Don't know what, but
Get asked
line
camper
sunscreen.
recommendations.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Especially because my roommate just cut my hair today, really
Oh
short.
my, there you go.
I like it really short. It's low maintenance and uh,
Is
whatever.
is
It's
the
like
widow peak is the widow's peak natural, or is that do you just cut it that way?
no, it's natural. It's natural.
Okay,
And
I
the
think I noticed that
reason
before.
why is because I take every precaution for not precaution, but I just uh, like any more than like 2 inches of hair just gets so sweaty in the sun, and
Hmm.
it's very important to me to try and get outside every day. During pandemic, all my classes are online. Like when
There
I
you go.
last talked to you, they were like half and half, but now they're fully
Mhm.
online and furthermore, fully at your own pace. So
Ooh, that's nice.
it can get real Groundhog Day for me if I don't be careful. Wake
Mhm.
up, go to my computer. Now we got the podcast to add some variety to my life.
There you go. I, yeah, speaking of hairstyles, you can't really tell now, and it's hard to tell like on camera just because my hair is a lot darker. But like I went with something new. It's kind of easier to tell like once I first got it. But I forget what it's called. It's like a certain style. But like I went like shorter on the sides. Sort of kept it long and got like something new to put in it to where it like makes it a little bit more curly. I didn't put it in a lot today. I usually haven't put in a lot if I'm just gonna be like online and at home, not really going out
Yeah.
anywhere. Yeah, it's kind of gotten like a little fuzzy now. You can kind of tell from like the
Uh huh.
side. So I might need to get it just like trimmed a little bit and then like cut on the sides. Yeah, one of my fraternity brothers, like down at Samford, he cuts hair for like $10. So it's a good deal. And so I've got like pictures to
Is he
show him. Like
trained?
I don't know. I have absolutely no clue if he's like done any sort of certification, but like I've seen the work he's done, and it looks really good. Um, and so I mean, what the heck? Might as well try. If I do it, like yeah, if I do it, there's also a chance that like we go online like full time anyway, so it won't really matter.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I've seen the work he's done. He's done a really good job. I think I tried to schedule an appointment with him back in May. I was gonna
Ouch.
go down. Yeah, I was gonna go down to Sanford to like go pick up like the rest of my stuff that from my dorm room. And so he had said like he made like a little announcement in our group chat that he was doing haircuts. And so I was like, hey, I'm gonna be here on this day. Is there any way I can get a haircut? He's like, I don't have one until like late in the afternoon. And my pickup time was like around like 10 a.m. So it's like I'm not waiting. I'll just let it grow out, and then try to get a haircut for my grandmother at some point. Yeah, that's what I ended up doing, and then got like a actual haircut right before school started.
we I know it still looks good, but it looked really good when you got it, and I like the different change. Are we allowed to talk about like the times we were together? Like, or is that violating some law?
I don't think so. There's
No.
small groups, and like we've
Yeah,
been
we were in small groups. We were playing a D&D, or we were at someone's house at like the pool, or maybe it was Fourth
yeah
of
at Thompson's.
July.
Yeah. Hmm.
Was it maybe one of those times we were hanging out, and I'm a fan of switching up the style. Uh, I've not had short hair in a long time, but
Hmm.
for me, it's like I love wearing hats. So at the bottom of end of the day, it doesn't make too much of a difference. But I had a period of longer hair, and I enjoyed it. But I would get anxiety before ROTC in the morning if it was like too long and I'm gonna get called out. Nothing worse than getting called out, especially at
Right.
like 6:30 a.m. when they're like barely sentient and you're just like, oh shit.
I could not do that. I'm
No,
not a morning person. Not a getting yelled at in the morning kind of person either. So
you don't really. They're really really nice. People think that like, and it's funny to talk about like it's more serious than it is, and it's super serious. Like it's still like a
mhm.
military organization, but like it's not boot camp or anything. Like even the thing we go to, which is the closest thing to boot camp, which is called field training, is still
Yeah.
like you're like out there, you're like in barracks sleeping, you're doing like activities in the field. Uh,
Mhm.
Even that's not boot camp. I watched a really cool Business Insider, businessman, Business 100. You're a businessman. That means good
This is
channel.
200 now.
Business 200. So you're a really good businessman, basically. Uh, we Business Insider makes a series of YouTube videos about where a cameraman or like a journalist goes to boot camp and like films it, and it's really interesting. And those guys get destroyed. Uh, One time they were like, he was like filming a class, and one of the cadets went like this and like thumbs up, and then they all got punished. They all got smoked, is what they call it. Some of the things is uh, like if they would if you were like really, really like out of line, it was this program. It was in Coast Guard boot camp called RAMP, which RAMP stands for like something like like you're just being an idiot and you need to get back in line. And they were these the ramped guys. They would wear red vests so like you could tell them apart. So all the sergeants could tell them apart. And then one of the things they were doing was they would stand in these little tape circles in a different room and like hold their hands out like this and stomp on the ground and march in place and like just shout ramp, 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 ramp. And I was watching, I was like, oh my god, that would be awful. So
Uh, and I
yeah.
don't know too much about basic training, but my uncle's Tennessee National Guard. So I remember like he had to do boot camp long time ago. Uh, and so now he's I think pretty soon he's doing like some sort of like officer training for the National Guard. I think that's the case. So I think it's just like you have to like do it like every like certain number of years, I think, just to kind of show that you're still interested in being in the National Guard, and so
Yeah.
he enjoys it. So yeah, he's in like the National Guard band. So they've gone and done like, or they did like a little virtual concert for Fourth of July.
Oh, that's cool.
I think they played. I saw like their version of Rocky Top, and so he's come to Chattanooga a few times with the band, and they played at like the Lookouts game.
Mhm.
So
My uncle is a police sergeant, and I'd like to get him on the podcast because the police are at the
oh
forefront
yeah,
of a conversation right now. Uh,
that would
but
be super interesting.
but I'd love to get him to talk about that, and I really respect him, and he's awesome. And when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh, what's the training like to be a police officer?" And he's like, "Well, you get pepper sprayed, you get tased." I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to be a police officer." I'm like, "That's it. Who cares about anything else?" I'm like, "I don't want to get pepper sprayed or tased." Now I don't want to be a police officer necessarily, but I kind of want to get pepper sprayed and tased just to see what it's like.
I think I'd be fine with not knowing.
Maybe not pepper sprayed because but I want to see what it's like to be tased. Maybe I've talked about this with a
I
friend.
mean, out of the two, I think I would choose pepper spray. I don't know.
Dude, I'm so bad
A
with
whole lot
spicy
worse.
food. I know they're not related, but I mean they are, right? But
I was yeah, you know me. I'm not a big fan of spicy food
oh,
either.
not a
But yeah,
fan.
no, but no, yeah, getting taste a whole lot worse. I
Editor,
think.
insert video of Hunter sweating and crying while eating the super spicy wings.
Who
Uh,
wasn't sweating and crying?
oh yeah, that's a good
Everybody
point.
had one.
We all had one.
Maybe.
Hunter lost, for context, Hunter lost our fantasy football league, and the punishment was he had to do the Inferno Wing Challenge at Buffalo Wild Wings. And Hunter, it's perfect for Hunter because Hunter is horrible with spicy food. Uh, they were like when the waitress brought them to the table, I felt like I could see like heat waves coming off them, like you're looking down
So
at
you could
asphalt.
smell it before she even put it on the table. It was
They're bad.
man. I ate one full one, and thankful I didn't have to eat them all.
Yeah.
I'm glad everybody else kind of like pitched in and helped out. But yeah, that was one of the worst feelings ever. I just remember like there was so much pain in my ears, and I didn't know why. And yeah, it was
Funniest,
so bad.
the funniest part is you took a bite and you instantly started sweating. And then we're like, oh my god, we have to try this. And we were all like dying. And she's like, are you guys okay? Do you need milk? And we're like, yes, yes, please. We were such babies.
I mean, like I feel like that was the typical response. I don't
Yeah, it
know.
is. Yeah, honestly.
It was no, that was yeah. I hope to never have to do that again. I think it was like a few months later, and like, or I don't know. I forget like when we actually did it. But I remember
It was like May or
so I went
something.
to Buffalo Wild Wings in like some December. I don't know if it was like the year after or just like or yeah when it was yeah went with a few of my choir friends but either after a concert or between concerts and somebody ordered like the Inferno wings to do the Inferno wing challenge. Like everybody had one. And I was just like, I'm not doing this again. I was like, I'm gonna film y'all. And so yeah, that's what I did. I was like, I've already done this once. I'm not doing this again.
Did they have a similar reaction?
Oh yeah, 100%. Everybody's like, I think there's like two guys, and they're like, oh, this isn't that bad, and like they were like pretty tame about it. They didn't think it was that hot. And then like 5 minutes later, they're like downing water and milk. Yeah, no, yeah, it definitely happens to everybody.
Uh, I think you have to be inhuman to not. The thing about that is about spicy peppers is capsaicin, which is the chemical. It's like completely harmless. It's just like a defense mechanism of the plant to make us think. It's like just a chemical reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, have you ever seen Hot Ones?
Is that the show where like they eat like they do like an interview and they just eat hot
Yeah,
wings?
they eat.
I've seen one episode, and it's the one where the guy like poops his pants and then
I was about
delivers
to
it.
say that episode is amazing. It's
That
so
is the one episode I've seen, and that's pretty much just like part of the reason like I don't want to do anything like that again.
the guy
I
was.
don't want to be that guy.
It was so funny of him, like just like the face he makes. Like he lets out the grossest, like wettest, like flatulence ever, and he like makes this face, and the interviewer Sean Evans is like, and then the guy's like, "Oh my god, I think I," and he's like, "No, you did not just." He's like, "Yeah, I did." Oh my god, could you imagine?
I don't want
Luckily,
to. I don't want to imagine that.
luckily I've never shit my pants, and hopefully I never will.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully. But you know, spicy food can make you do something. I
Oh yeah.
do like hot sauce, a little bit of hot sauce, but
Mm-hmm.
I like the taste. I like that kind of stuff. I'm just not super good with it, but you know, if I like different sauces and spices. We have a pretty nice sauce drawer because my friend is a really big Hot Ones fan, so he has like all the Hot Ones like sauces and bottles. So
Mm-hmm.
it's cool. It's cool.
I've been to the Bass Pro Shop out in Memphis, the one in like the glass pyramid.
Oh, dude,
Like I've been there like twice now, I think.
what are the eight wonders of the world?
It was it's it's a wonder, all right. But they've got like a shop in there that's got some candy and food, and they just got like a wall where it's all hot sauce. Uh, and so I haven't bought anything from there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Memphis like 3 times and been to the Bass Pro Shop twice out of those three.
I've been
So
to Memphis once. We went to Rendezvous,
okay.
which is a famous. I saw it on Man vs. Food. Anytime we'd go on vacation, which doesn't happen now as it used to, but I would go on Man vs. Food because I love Man vs. Food. I love Man vs. Food before I like going on vacation. Just watching it and watching him. The eating challenges can get. Are you familiar with Man vs. Food?
Yeah.
I'm doing like eating challenges. The eating challenges
Mm-hmm.
can get kind of gross sometimes to a
Yeah.
certain point. Like when he's downing like 80 oysters or like a 3 foot long pizza or whatever. Like it can get pretty
Mm-hmm.
gross. But the parts like before the eating challenge where he goes and tries out all these new foods, I really like that too.
Yeah.
And we went to the Rendezvous, which was on there, and they specialize in ribs. And anyone who's going to Memphis, the place
Yeah,
is
you
kind of
gotta
like
get barbecue.
underground, like you walk downstairs to get it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
really, really good. Uh, what do you go to Memphis for? Just
So my first time, I don't remember like what year it was. But it was in the summer. I was touring with the Chattanooga Boys Choir, and the theme of the tour was all about civil rights. So our 3 stops were in Atlanta, Birmingham, and Memphis, where all three places have a civil rights museum. And so, yeah, that was our big theme for the summer. So, yeah, went to the Memphis Civil Rights Museum, toured one of the guitar factories there, ate some Memphis barbecue, uh, performed at, I don't know if we performed at Graceland or
Mm.
just nearby. Yeah, like Elvis's home.
I've been to Graceland. It's cool.
I that was probably my favorite part of the tour. We sang "Can't Help Falling in Love" by Elvis, and so which is like my favorite of his songs.
Banger.
And so yeah, so that was my first time going, and then the two times I've been since then have been I went fall of 2019, and for the first part of spring break this year, and that's just to go visit my girlfriend Maya. She's at Rhodes in Memphis, and so yeah, for Christmas she got me tickets to go on the elevator to like the top of the pyramid in the Bass Pro Shop, and they've got like a little book out there. And so yeah, that's what we did. Like I think it was like my first night there, like over spring break. So
Could you
see,
see the
that's
curvature of the Earth
no, it's flat
from the
though.
top of the Bass Pro Pyramid?
No, you can see it. You can see a really long way away because you're just looking right over like the Mississippi River into Arkansas, and it is flat, nothing
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
So
And Birmingham is where Samford is, right?
yep, so
You
it's
know,
in Homewood, which is just like a little suburb,
yeah.
right outside of Birmingham. Yeah, it's a sort of like Chattanooga, I guess.
It's
Definitely an
very
older city.
technological.
Uh,
Like
yeah,
it's techie. Like I almost applied to UAB. Well, I did apply to UAB. I almost went to University of Alabama, Birmingham. Really good engineering school because
right.
they have like a NASA thing there.
Mm-hmm. Or is
The-
that UAH?
oh, that is UAH. Huntsville
Yeah,
has the
I've got a
NASA
friend
thing.
who's
Yeah, I was getting confused. I applied to UAH, which is really techie. So maybe everything I just said about Birmingham is wrong.
I was to say, I was like, I've not experienced the techie parts about Birmingham, but I was like, I my
What?
exploring Birmingham was cut short last semester, so I was like, maybe you do know because yeah, Sanford's kind of in its own little bubble, so you're not always interacting with the city. But I've
You've
been
never
like
heard
into
of the
the city a few
Silicon
times.
Valley of the South, Birmingham?
No, no way. It's a foodie city there. There's a lot of
Really?
good restaurants, and so like that reminds me of Chattanooga. Um, yeah, I've been to a few good restaurants down there. They've got some good barbecue restaurants. Um, like right before an ATO party, I went to a sort of like a food court with a friend and got shawarma first time.
Never had it.
That so that was really cool. Uh, I think my grandparents they came down to visit last fall for like we came see an ultimate frisbee game, and so I went out to lunch with them afterwards, and I got a it was weird. We went to a restaurant called Melt, and so I got like a burger, but it was like on like thick sandwich bread that had been grilled, so it was kind of crisp, and it also had like macaroni and cheese on it,
Wow. Sounds pretty
and
good.
yeah, I could only eat like half of it. It was super big and super filling, so had the rest for like dinner the next night.
Would you consider yourself a foodie?
Probably not. Just I can be kind of like picky when it comes to eating,
Oh, really?
but like, I'm down to try new things. Like if it's with my family, I'm a little bit more hesitant because like y'all know me. Uh, it's like why are we trying someone new? But like if I'm out with like friends or something, like hey, we want to try out this new restaurant. I'm like, oh yeah, I think it was yeah Thomas like wanted us to go to like 210 Jack. I think that's that Japanese restaurant, and that's like probably not somewhere I would go just like on my own. It's not somewhere like hey, I want to eat there. Thomas like hey, I want to go check this out, and so it's like oh yeah, let's go. And so I remember having like the crab noodles there,
Good.
and so that was really good. So I'm like I'm down to try new things. Just I'm not doing it all the time.
Unfortunately, Orlando. By the way, we talked about 210 Jack on Thomas's podcast because we talked about food. But Oviedo is like a small suburb of Orlando, kind of in the similar way of yours and Samford. But Oviedo doesn't have that much food around. Orlando's got some pretty good food, but I don't go down. I actually don't go to downtown Orlando much. Uh, we cook our own food, and by we I mean my roommate cooks my food for me. So, but I had like crab legs, not crab legs. Why did I say crab? Like blue soft shell crab for one of the
Mhm.
first times, and it was really good. And I had one of the weirder things I had in Orlando was fried alligator tail, which I ate at Cocoa Beach when I got
All
sunburned really
right.
badly. And uh, I mean, it was all right. It was more
Yeah,
like there's this giant sign that said fried alligator, and we were all like, dude, I'm hungry. We've been like throwing
it's
football for like
Friday.
an hour, so let's get it. But maybe we should go to Birmingham and get some of that good food.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. I've got like a list of like places I want to go. And so I'm always like looking for like somebody to like go with, to kind of like tick off those boxes. Like what it's great like when family comes in town because they offer to pay, and I was like, oh yeah, there we
Oh
go.
yeah, big time.
That's the best time to like kind of like check off that list. But like I feel like more restaurants get added than get taken off. For me, so but I keep a list of the ones that I really like. There's this pizza restaurant that I went to, and so they've got like 3 or 4 different pizzas that like I still want to try.
Oh yeah.
Uh, so definitely got to get back there.
I haven't had pizza in so long, dude, but I freaking love it. We have a Domino's on campus, which like I don't really
Mhm.
get much because it's like Domino's. I mean, I like Domino's. Don't get me wrong. I think it's the best delivery pizza, but like it's really hard to beat that good like go to a restaurant sit down pizza. An experience
Oh
we
yeah,
haven't had in a long time. We all went to Community Pie that one time.
I remember that. Yeah, right
Uh,
after you like stop being a
was
vegetarian. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I'll talk about that one day. 3 years of a vegetarian. Uh, it was because it was right after my travel talk when I got right back from spring break, and I
Mhm.
broke being a vegetarian in Poland because it was awful. I had it was awful, and then I was convinced by a certain David Fisk, who I'm getting on the podcast.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, but some of the food I had there, Poland, I had some great food. One thing I had was my first night there. I was still vegetarian, and I was like, uh, we went to this really nice restaurant. And I was like, oh well, there's only one thing on here, and it's this thing called like appetizer. I was like, oh, what does this mean to our translator? And she's like, oh, it's like fried cheese. I was like, dude, love fried cheese. And I got it, and it's this. They bring it out. It's this massive plate with like a actual like small circle of cheese, like about this big, like as big as the plate, lightly fried, not like mozzarella sticks. It's just like a thing of cheese that you like actually have to cut into with a knife and fork and eat pieces of it. I'm like, this is really good. It came from the sheeps of the Tatra Mountains, which came nearby. I was like, oh, that's cool. Sheep cheese. Uh, but after that, we went to this nice place that had like bears mounted, like taxidermied on the walls, and like these massive like coats of these animals is like that you sit on the benches, and there's like this very animal themed place. And everyone was getting these amazing steaks and like ribs and stuff. And I was like, I'll take a steak. Oh man, because like it's a whole thing. It's a whole story I'll tell. But I've had a lot of different experiences, like different diets, because I love fitness. I love trying out new ways to like enhance. Nutrition is like such a big part of fitness. So I tried keto over the summer, where you don't eat carbs. I lost weight that way, but like uh, you eat mostly fat, which fats aren't inherently unhealthy. But I was kind of greasy from it, and it was hard to eat with people because it's like it's just hard. You eat like meat and cheese and like eggs. So it's a whole thing. I'm back to a pretty normal diet right now. Uh, College student diet, that is. Ramen. I still eat protein shakes to have some measure of healthiness to me, but I'm not on the meal plan. And luckily, I'm not getting any UCF administration on here because the meal plan at UCF is actual so bad, and it's expensive too. And they try and get you. They try and get you. the first semester we didn't do the math, but like we were paying $20 a day
Oh, geez.
for food. Yeah. And now we pay like 50 to $70 like a week. So we were paying $20 a day for food, and now I get all that money back that I didn't pay. So
I think I do. I think it was like towards the end of my first semester at Samford. Definitely did a lot of just self-prepared meals. In my dorm room or eating out because like right after it was like over Thanksgiving break, apparently like people found out like Sanford's cafeteria had a really low health score. Like just to put into perspective, the local Waffle House had
love Waffle
a
House.
1 point like higher score than us, and so it was really bad. And so I was like, I'm not feeling good about eating in the calf. That's what we call it. So
Yeah. Listen,
ate a ton of cookout.
I'm not going to complain. Listen, to anyone who's watching and think Matt is a complainer, I recognize it is an impossible task to feed 67,000 students.
Oh
So
yeah.
it is not just hard; it is straight up impossible to find quality food for that much people. So
Mhm.
it's just overpriced, is what it is. And the thing is the most interesting place around UCF campus. It's all like fast food. So it's like there's like a sushi place, there's like a nice pizza place. So there's two of those, but other than that, it's almost all fast food. There's a Taco Bell called Taco Bell Cantina, and they serve wine and
Okay.
beer. And there's a place that got started in Alabama, or no, it might have been started in Jacksonville, but there's one in Chattanooga and there's one here that's really good. And a friend took me there when we met. It's called Maple Street Biscuit Company.
Oh yeah, I know that. So I know somebody who works there.
It's an amazing place. It's an
Mhm.
amazing place. Uh, so good. And
So
they
yeah, one
serve
of my
like not just biscuits, but like biscuits with like things in them. It's a whole thing.
one of the things like my family started doing like once quarantine started was like on the weekends, either like on Saturday or Sunday, we would order like takeout food from like a local place just to like support local businesses. And so
Mm.
we should just like mix it up every week. And so yeah, that was like on our like rotation of places to go get breakfast from.
What's your favorite place in Chattanooga to eat?
Oh, like any meal or just breakfast? Because like if it's any meal,
Oh, did you
it's
just
like
order breakfast? You said. I thought you said like.
oh no, no yeah, this was just breakfast. It was like something
Oh,
we could do.
okay. I
Yeah,
must
we'd
have
like
misheard you then.
so we'd eat breakfast or we'd like get breakfast from somewhere. Like my dad or mom would go pick it up, bring it back to the house, and then we'd have like breakfast out on the back porch. But yeah, favorite restaurant in Chattanooga is definitely Mojo Burrito,
Mm.
but I haven't been in a long time because they've been low on steak, and so I always get like steak in my burritos, and so it's just like, well, if I can't enjoy my favorite meal there,
Oh, and
why
what's
would I
the
go?
point? What's that place that
Yeah.
we went to breakfast that one time? It was called Bluegrass Grill, I
Oh yeah,
think.
I love Bluegrass Grill.
We
That's
went there. You,
great
me,
pancakes.
and Stip. So good. Such a good
Mm-hmm.
place. Good vibe. Good
Oh yeah, the
vibe.
people who work there are super nice.
Uh huh. Uh huh. It's always so many great places in Chattanooga.
Mm-hmm.
Would you college career said and done? Would you want to live in Chattanooga for like
So I've thought about this like quite a bit. Um, yeah, I guess like for your viewers who don't know me, um, like what I'm planning
shame
on
on you if you
doing.
do.
What?
Shame on you if you don't.
So yeah, what I want to do is like something along the lines of sports analytics. That's sort of where I'm headed. That's like the reason I chose Samford. Um,
Mhm.
but I don't know what that would look like. I can't start interning until I think the summer after my junior year. I think that's the case. I'm not entirely sure. Uh, but yeah, I don't know if I ended up working for like a professional sports team like I want to. Um, I don't know if that's something where I'd have to be in the city where that team is like playing and like that's where the practices are. I don't know if it's something where I'd have to like kind of be on the road a lot, like with the team, um, or if it's something that like a job that I can just do remotely. Because yeah, that's a big thing now. Is like you do see like more jobs just becoming remote. Like I guess like planning to like even after like the like after COVID goes away. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think it would be kind of neat just to stay in Chattanooga and work remotely doing sports and data analytics. Because yeah, I know Stippy's a big fan of like Chattanooga's internet, and it's pretty great. Having been in here for a year, not great internet
Dude,
speeds. So that would be kind of neat. And then yeah, I do love the city. Like I know some people who live there here their whole lives, they can get kind of bored and like want to leave.
uh-huh.
Yeah, I could see myself coming back here to work, but then yeah, I also think it'd be really neat to live in a city working with a professional sports team. I think that'd be kind of neat getting to like do sports analytics like during the games, kind of like making decisions on the fly, and then like also being like a part of like the practices,
Oh yeah.
helping like players improve. That's the sort of what I think I want to do. It could change, but yeah, that's the path I'm on. So
Change for me.
that's for sure. I know you like talked like a lot about like wanting to be a sports broadcaster. So now, you're doing ROTC, looking at like maybe being a pilot or combat medic. I think.
Yeah, I wanted to be an
In med
engineer,
school.
and then after ROTC, and now like I'm doing kinesiology, I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
pre-med, uh, and I thought coming into college, I'm like, one thing I have over people is that I'm not gonna switch majors. Like I was so sure that I wasn't gonna switch majors. I'm like, I can get my degree done because I'm not gonna switch majors. The future is uncertain, completely
Some
uncertain.
fun in that though. Yeah.
There is fun in that. There is fun.
Yeah.
That's a good mindset, especially for someone who's very
Yep.
type A like me, who doesn't want uncertainty. So to see the fun in it is important.
Mm-hmm. So I think sort of like just my passion for data analytics. It kind of like renewed itself in me just like this past like few days really. Like Samford's got like a little dashboard that just tells you like how many new COVID cases there are per day. They haven't updated today so far. They might have updated while we've been filming. Um, but so I've been checking that like each day, just kind of like seeing like what's it looking like for us. But yeah, then this week I sort of just started like my own Google Doc thing where like I take the data they give and expand upon it. So I've been like tracking like Samford's average number of cases per day, and then like doing my
That's
best to
cool.
like estimate like what our active cases are actually at. Been making like a ton of like graphs to go along with it, so you can see like the I was gonna say like the ups and downs, but there's it's kind of just all been ups, not really a lot of downs. So
But in any other context, only ups is such a good thing to hear.
right. So yeah, no, not in this case. And so yeah, I was just sitting there like kind of deciding like what graphs wanted to have in the show, and like how I was gonna do that. And so yeah, just like sitting there in front of like just a Google spreadsheet, I was just like, I really enjoy this. This is something
That's really
fun.
cool.
And so and I kind of been nervous, just like, yeah, what if this isn't something like I end up being good at or like don't find fun. So that's kind of reassuring for me. So yeah, fun stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, or not necessarily fun like watching like the COVID numbers go up, but
Well, I know what you mean.
spreadsheet. Yeah.
I not to get all sappy here, but I think you will excel whatever you want, whatever you pursue, because you've got your heart's in the right place, Hunter. You're like you like uh you're in it for you're in it for good reasons, not for self gain or for popularity or for profit, but you're in it for good reasons. So like as long as you keep your heart on the right path, as long as you keep your moral compass pointing north, uh, I think you can maybe make the Jets go beat the Patriots. Hopefully,
Ooh. Hey, that might be easier now
that might
that
be easier
Brady's
now.
gone. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I've sort of found something that I enjoy doing. And it's like it can take like a long time for some people, and that's okay. But yeah, I was kind of fortunate to find that like pretty early on doing data analytics work for Macaulay. Yeah, so that feels good, and yeah, and it feels great just to like have that like sort of like reassurance like that I like the path I'm on right now. And yeah, and it could change in the future, but it might not end up being sports analytics. Yeah, but just data analytics in general interests me. And yeah, like what I'm doing right now isn't sports related.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still find just like entering numbers in a spreadsheet and making a graph pretty fun.
Would you
So
ever move out of the country? Like, let's say you got a job from like a like Real Madrid. Like, let's say from like a professional like soccer or football as they call it there, or like maybe like an international like hockey team from Canada, or like maybe like Japanese baseball or anything like that. You could just, I don't know much about international sports, but let's say you got some of that. Would you do
I
that?
think I think if the opportunity presented itself, it'd be very tempting to.
It'd be
It definitely like
crazy.
depends on the place, and then like it'll kind of depend on what my life is looking like at the time. If like yeah, if I just have that freedom to do that, then maybe if the pay is good, I can definitely see myself doing that. Definitely be sort of like a like interesting thing to take on. So I know like yeah, goal right now is just like either professional, like just an American professional sports team, like probably like baseball or basketball. That's probably where I can see myself being. Um, but I forget like when I kind of was like, hey, this would be like the stretch goal. I don't even know if it's possible if they're like if it's something that like they're looking at, but I think it'd be interesting to work for like the U.S. Olympic Committee, doing like sports analytics for
Oh, dude.
them, kind of deciding like which athletes we want to take to the Olympics, and then helping them train so that we win gold. And so I think there'd be some travel opportunity for that. I
No,
think.
dude.
So yeah, I think I thought of that like just senior year. I was like, that's kind of a stretch. I don't know if that's something that um, they'd be looking for. Uh, but definitely like super cool. I enjoy traveling. I'm thankful I've gotten to do like a lot of it, mostly with yeah, Chattanooga Boys Choir and like a
Yeah.
little bit through school.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've enjoyed doing that, and to kind of like combine that with something I'm really passionate about would be a lot of fun.
I imagine. Well, hopefully you can find a graph that can tell me if I will get an A in stats one, because that's what I'm taking this semester. And
Yeah.
we just learned what qualitative data was. So
Uh-huh.
we're on our way to mastering the world statistics. Uh, I just hearing you talk makes me. I've got this book that I've been meaning to buy. I've been looking at it. So I go through like a book a week or something just because I have so much time because my classes are not too hard. So I've been looking at like books I'm trying to get next. I'm looking at the book Moneyball, The Art of Winning an
Oh yeah,
Unfair Game. Uh,
100%. Moneyball's a good one.
so maybe I'll get that and maybe
Moneyball, Astro World,
uh,
which is about the Houston Astros. They were like they were a big major league team doing data analytics. This is in the time before they were big cheaters. So yeah,
jeez.
and that's one my dad has read. So Astro World, and then I believe there's one about basketball that Daniel Sway recommended to me right before I graduated. So I've not checked that one out yet.
And
There's some good ones out there.
maybe the next Mac Poston uh, Hunter Adams podcast, we could have about Moneyball.
There we go.
I want to see the movie too. Brad Pitt, right?
Oh yeah. So
Oh
I have
yeah,
not seen the movie yet.
I'm not seeing the
Samford
movie.
has something called Bulldog Cinema, which is like its own sort of streaming service, and that one's on there. But I want to read the book first.
Oh dang, Samford, getting on it.
Yeah.
Bulldog Cinema, let's go. Well, Hunter, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun, and I
Yeah,
can't wait to see the episodes that come out.
yep.
And yeah,
We'll have to get you back
Uh,
on in a month or so. You
I'd
know,
definitely be down to
there's
do
a lot
this
of
again.
people that I want to get some repeat guests, especially some old friends. We got a lot to talk about.
So
There's a lot
hopefully,
left on the table on
right.
the digital table.
So hopefully the next time we do this, I'm in a dorm room and not in the attic in my house.
Oh yeah, we can only hope. Well,
Mhm.
maybe statistics can tell you that. Maybe that'll help you
See,
there.
so I'm gonna keep tracking Samford's data and see where that goes.
Uh-huh. Uh I'm sure you wouldn't want to track UCF's data because that is scary.
I don't know. Might be a little bit of a challenge. I like that.
Oh yeah. Well, everyone,